Floch Forster, ex-scout, leader of the Yeagerists, and most importantly, an apprentice to the devil of Paradis, Eren Yeager. In this video, my friend Christian and I are going to go over some key characteristics that we think he nails. What better way to start than from the very beginning, so here we go. Floch is shown briefly in earlier episodes, but his story really begins in chapter 70, where we witness a feast happening the day before the expedition to retake Wall Maria, as well as secure Shiganshina district, Eren's home, as well as where Grisha's basement is located. We find out that he transferred from the garrison regiment to the scouts after seeing the extreme growth of support and propaganda for the scouts. We skip forward to the attack from the Beast Titan, where new scouts and recruits are in charge of escorting horses along the wall to protect them from the boulders. During this attack, we see Floch panicking, realizing he's going to die a meaningless death, instead of his dream of dying sacrificing himself for Eldia. This is when a fellow garrison transfer, Marlowe, scolds him for letting some horses run away. Floch protests that there's no point in following orders if they're gonna die anyway. However, he is won over by Erwin's speech and charges with his allies. During the charge, he falls off his horse, allowing himself to miraculously survive. Stunned by his survival, he searches among the hundreds of corpses looking for survivors. In his search, he finds Commander Erwin himself, barely alive. He considers killing the commander in an act of mercy. He decides against this, instead treating the commander's wounds before pursuing Captain Levi. He finds Levi about to give the Titan injection to Eren to save fellow scout Armin, who sacrificed himself to guarantee the defeat of Bertolt, the Colossal Titan. He brings Levi the commander and begins to argue that a demon like Erwin can overcome the Titans. Keep the idea of Erwin being a demon in mind. Eren begins to try and coerce Levi into reviving Armin, when Floch restrains him to prevent his interference. After Levi gives Armin the serum, Floch argues with him about letting the commander die. During the ceremony, Hitch, a garrison member that had an interest in Marlowe, asked about him. Floch applauds Marlowe's bravery, but says he probably regretted his actions in his final moments. However, in Season 4 is when we really see his greatest run. As I said before, I believe that Floch absolutely nails some characteristics. We can see here that Floch started as a coward, but becomes a demon because of one single event: the suicide charge with Erwin and his comrades. I'm going to go one by one, explaining how he nails these characteristics. I'm going to start with loyalty. We can see this trait with the agreement to charge with Erwin. Skip forward to the birth of the Yeagerists. Floch doesn't mind going to prison because of the leak of Eren's arrests, leading to possible revolution. He also finds anyone that goes against Eren as a traitor to Eldia. He is also very loyal to Eldia, opting to execute Yelena for supporting Zeke's euthanization plan. However, he showed loyalty the most in the Rumbling, specifically at the harbor, where he has the Azumabitos captive, forcing them to help them. After killing 3 of Kiyomi Azumabitos' companions, Floch gloats about Eren's impending victory. After his attempt to coerce Kiyomi into collaborating, she warns that Eldians will still fight after the world is destroyed. He disregards her warning, threatening her with death, stating he is willing to sacrifice technological advances to kill potential enemies. After Mikasa shows up, he warns the other Yeagerists, telling them to kill the former allies who are now traitors. Even after he's shot right before he can blow up the ship, he drags himself behind it. When they finally make landfall, he emerges, firing a few shots and puncturing the fuel tank. However, he's killed by an ODM hook to the neck, pleading with his friends to not stop Eren. We can see he shows great loyalty to the people he believes as rightful leaders, from Eren all the way back to Erwin. However, there's one thing that he said before he died that made me come up with this video's title. He calls Eren Eldia's devil. Who else did he call a devil? Erwin. He's an apprentice to the devils he sees as necessary leaders. Another trait that he shows is courage. We first see this when he agrees to charge to his death. He's originally against the idea, however he is encouraged and charges forward, courageous until his possible death. We see this again during the Marley War arc when he helps command the soldiers to assault the Marleyan military, even gloating about their victory. Another way is his 1v5 against the Alliance. He went from a coward who broke down over the assault of one controlled Titan to courageously fighting a Titan Shifter, a Berserk Titan Shifter, an Ackerman, the commander of the Scouts, and Gabi with her aimbot.
Floch is the embodiment of patriotism. sometimes a bit too patriotic, but a patriot nonetheless. His goal was to always die in glory defending his home and his people. We see this when he transfers from the comfort of the garrison regiment to the scouts to help retake Walmaria in the Shiganshina district. He charged with bravery towards his death after coming to the realization that his death wouldn't be meaningless because the living can make purpose of it. Again, he finds out about Zeke's plan to euthanize the Eldian people, collaborating with Eren to help double-cross him and start the rumbling. He's not hesitant to order his soldiers to kill former allies who intend to stop Eren. Floch is one of the most determined characters in AOT. He's not hesitant to do whatever it takes for his plans and leaders to succeed. This starts with him carrying Erwin over the wall all the way to Levi. We see this when he poisons the high-ranking military officials to make sure the Yeagers' plans succeed. He's not afraid to whoop some ass. He executes anyone that goes against his plan, no matter their relationship with him. He 1v5 without hesitation and would have won if he didn't have the slowest firing Thunder Spear ever. Even after being shot, he drags himself behind the boat for hundreds of miles just to get back up and shoot the plane's tank. He could have shot the Osmobitos, but he wanted to not fly the plane at all. That's not determination. I don't know what is. Now, before I get people in the comments saying, actually, Floch was a fascist and the Yeagers were genocidal Yazis. First off, the rumbling was the only solution if they wanted to keep existing. Second, the true Yazis was Marleyans. They legitimately had whole internment camps for Eldians, as well as made them wear something that identified them as Eldians. Who does that sound like? If you're thinking what I'm thinking, Yazis. My next point is, Eldia was at war with the whole world, might I add. If you were in his situation, you'd do the same exact thing. Now, what really confuses me is how people are quick to defend Annie, Rhina, Gavi, etc. As a matter of fact, why don't we compare the things that the fandom's favorites have done when compared to Floch? Starting with Armin. He killed thousands of civilians as well as soldiers when he nuked the harbor in Marley. In comparison, Floch killed a few soldiers in Marley, one anti-Marleyan volunteer, as well as 3 or more Hezaru guards. For Reiner, over 20,000 people from the initial breach in Walmaria. In the case of Annie, she killed countless people in Stohas, as well as majority of Levi's squad. We had to take into account Marley did the exact same thing to Eldia back when they breached Walmaria. But then they cry like babies when they get the same treatment. This is the exact definition of poking the bear and getting mauled. Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video and maybe got some new insight out of it. If not, don't really know what to tell you. Sadly, that's not my problem. Jokes aside, thank you guys so much for the support. Me and Cameron really do appreciate it. If you'd like to see more videos like this from us in the future, make sure to like and subscribe. But yeah, that's about it. Bye. Peek.